Hello there, a very good evening and welcome to Prime Time News on TV1. We're coming to you live and direct from our Newsfirst studios here in Colombo. I'm Charlene Benedict and with me is my co-anchor Bundeen Jaisingha. Good evening, Bundeen.
Good evening, Charlene, and a very good evening to you. Let's now take a look at headlines.
Trade union actions launched by the railway and teacher trade unions continue. Preparations underway to make railway an essential service.
රජයේ යන්ත්‍රණය අකර්මණ්‍ය වෙලා තියෙනවා.
කාලකන්ණි දේශපාලනයක් තමයි අද මේ බැසිල් රාජපක්ෂ මහත්තයලා පොහොට්ටුවෙන් ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන්නේ.
MP Keheliya Rambukwala says they would consider signing SOFA and MCC agreements under their government. Is Mahinda Rajapaksa the prime ministerial candidate of Gotabaya Rajapaksa?
වලමු.
Partly Champika says no conditions to Sajjan Premadasa's candidacy. President instructs the police to commit to carry out the presidential election successfully while acting independently.
The general public was inconvenienced today as well as a result of the trade union action launched by the railway and teacher principal trade unions.
Several trade unions attached to railways, including station masters, engine drivers, controllers and regulators, were engaged in their trade union action today as well. As a result, only 12 office trains were in operation.
රටපාලනය කරනව දැනගන්න ඕනේ ඉතින් මේවා කරනකොට මාජනතාව කොච්චර මේ අසීරුවටපත් වෙලා තියෙනවද කියලා.
දෙහ හතර විතර ඉඳන් ඇවිල්ලා මෙතන බලන් ඉනවා ට්‍රේන් එකක් එනකන් ඉතින් තාම නැහැ.
මේ විදිහට මේ මිනිස්සු අමාරු දාලා ගන්න සල්ලි වැඩක් නැහැ. සාධාරණව ගන්න 100 තමයි වටින්නේ.
These trains operated from Mahava, Kurunagala, Kandy, Polgahawela, Shilao, Avisawela, Galle and Gampaha. Several more trains were to be put into operation this evening. Secretary to the Ministry of Transport said retired railway employees have been recalled for duty to ensure that the railway operations continue without disruption. The president of the Engine Drivers Union says they would not stop the strike action until they receive solutions to their salary issues.
The people of this country should be aware that the train driver receives a salary of 300,000 rupees and overtime payments. A railway regulator obtains a salary of about 250,000 rupees. A station master obtains a salary of over 200,000 rupees. In a situation like this, when the salaries have been increased, they are saying that this has been done immediately. The government salary increase will take place on the 1st of January. They want this done immediately. We increased the salary by 10,000 rupees in February. That was added to the basic salary. We gave a bonus of 2,500 rupees from the previous budget. We have done another price increase as well. The people of this country should be aware as to why people who receive such a high salary are trying to cripple the government by carrying trade union action in this nature. I think this is because it's an election period. Is this something that is done aiming the elections?
Meanwhile, the strike action launched by the teacher principal trade unions to apply for sick leave hampered the academic activities of several schools today. The teacher principal trade unions applied sick leave yesterday as well as part of the strike action they've launched, demanding that the salary anomalies be rectified.
වර්ජනය යම්පැතිම. ඉතින් මේ දේශපාලඥයෝ මේවලට සම්පූර්ණවක් කියන්න ඕනේ කියන්න දෙයක් නැහැ.
වර්ජනය නම් කරන එක නම් හොඳ නැහැ. මොකද හේතුව මේ ළමයි ඉගෙන ගැනීම අපි සාමාන්‍යයෙන් ගුරුවරු සලකන්නේ ගුරු දෙවිවරු වගේ. නමුත් දැන් මෙතන ළමයිනුත් අපේ තියාගෙන කරන එක තමයි සාධාරණත් වෙන්නේ.
අපි අකිල විරාජ් කාර්යසම අධ්‍යාපන
We informed the Minister of Education, Akila Viraj Kariwasam, in writing on the 21st of July that the strike action will be held on the 26th and 27th of September. We did not even receive a reply. We would like to inform the rulers of this country that we will carry out a strike action from the 7th to the 12th of October for 5 days. There are no trains operating in the country. The war heroes who saved us are protesting on the road. None of the state officers are functioning. The government machine is dysfunctional. The government is not functioning. The departments are not functioning. The country is in dire straits. We must accept these things at a time such as this. It is not secret that the protests are being carried out based on the wants of the poor tour and Basil Rajapaksa. They have fallen down to the inhumane situation to hold strikes, and when the patients are inconvenienced, they claim that they were successful. The politicians have fallen down to the state where when the people cannot travel and they hang on to trains, when the trains are on strike, they claim they have been successful. They claim that they are successful when the children can't learn and when they go back a day or two in terms of education. Basit Rajapaksa and the port tour is engaged in low-class politics. It is clear as to who is behind these protests. The trade union leaders who are behind this are all trade union leaders of the port tour. Basit Rajapaksa is controlling all of it.
A special cabinet meeting got underway at the presidential secretariat this evening. Now, according to sources, the meeting was held to discuss the present situation in the country, including the strike actions launched by trade unions. During the meeting, Cabinet decided to appoint a Cabinet subcommittee to inquire into the strikes in a number of sectors and provide solutions to them. Moving on in more local news, the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna said they would consider signing a Status of Forces Agreement and the Millennium Challenge Cooperation Agreement under their government in the future. MP Kelly Rambukwela made these remarks during a media briefing held yesterday.
Unless it is a mutually beneficial to both countries, we will never get into any international agreements. We will have to go through the agreement first, which we have requested, right? I don't want to mention names. We met two other foreign ministers of the foreign ministers who have signed this. And they said it is purely a commercial contract which benefits both. So I do not want to mention the countries.
So far, an MCC are two controversial US agreements dealing with US military access in Sri Lanka, and the other, a multi-million-dollar grant with a specific project scope involving land and transport in Sri Lanka.
Following an event in Galle today, journalists questioned Minister Patali Champagiranawaka about Sajjan Premadasa's presidential candidacy. Mr. Vajirabe Wardana was also present at the occasion.
Just like we said before, we will use a common symbol to contest. For now, we have decided to use the symbol of the swan. That may change. No, all of us have got together and discussed and come to an agreement on what policies we should have in the coming 5 years. We are still open about it.
Representatives of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna expressed these views on the symbol of the alliance headed by the United National Party.
The suffering our people had to go through after voting for the swan at the previous election and the suffering they are going through right now. I must say that the people of this country cannot be persuaded to vote for the swan again. If Ranil Wickremesinghe and Ravi Karunanika even mistakenly dream of being inside a castle they dream of, I must say that Ranil Wickremesinghe is the first person who will have to wear the jumper suit. Next to be Ravi Karunanika. Also, Akila will have to be cautious.
Akila parisangin. Mangala Rasima.
Our inaugural rally is scheduled to be held on the 9th of October at the Salgadu grounds in Anuradhapura. We will begin the series of political rallies of our campaign after the inaugural rally on the 9th of this month. If the Sri Lanka Freedom Party joins us, we will secure a resounding victory. If they do not join us, I must point out that we have created the background needed for Gotabaya Rajapaksa to emerge victorious in the election.
Meanwhile, the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna extended an open invitation to the Sri Lanka Freedom Party today.
We would like to extend an invitation to the Sri Lanka Freedom Party to join our alliance to unseat this government that has destroyed the country throughout the past 4.5 years. We invite you to join us and stand with us in this fight. We would like to extend this cordial invitation to our friends, the Sri Lanka Freedom Party.
සාකච්ඡා කරලා එක්සත් ජනතා නිදහස් සන්ධානය පිටවීම සඳහා අවසන් සාකච්ඡාවල් පවත්වලා තිබෙනවා.
ශ්‍රී ලංකා පොදුජන සන්ධානය.
Also, a number of parliamentarians from the United National Party have expressed their intention to support Gotabaya Rajapaksa. Due to certain problematic situations surrounding these individuals, we do not hope to continue our discussions with them.
Former General Secretary of the United National Party, Tissa Attanayaka, convened a media briefing today.
As a General Secretary of the party who toiled for over a decade, I have decided that Sajjan Premadasa is the most suitable person for this journey. Thereby, I have accepted the invitation extended by him, and I will work for the best of my ability to ensure the victory of Sajjan Premadasa. We have to gather the people who have distanced themselves from the party due to previous political squabbles. I would like to act as a bridge for this task. I will not mention names specifically, but United National Party had a strong youth front. However, due to some reason, this front grew apart from the party. Sajjan Premadasa can act as a bridge to bring them back to the party and unite everyone. Many people hoped for Sajjan Premadasa to come forward. Certain parliamentarians had directly spoken with Sajjan Premadasa regarding this. I held discussions with some of them as well. They were waiting until the issues surrounding the nominations were sorted out. Now that issues have been resolved, I can see a decisive turn of events in the coming 5 to 6 weeks. Some people have told me personally that it is hard for them to stand with the Sri Lanka Podujana Perumana with the issues that have cropped up regarding the presidential candidate of the SLPP. Therefore, some of them are holding discussions to support Sajjan. Some of these discussions are ongoing.
Following views were expressed by a number of MPs from the UMP on the appointment of Minister Sajjan Premadasa as the UMP presidential candidate.
Even Tissa Attanayaka has been invited. Him joining our party is a great pillar of strength. We are glad. Actually, it was the Prime Minister who suggested Sajjan Premadasa's name. From that point, everything is decided. From that, we reflect the unity inside our party. Our victory is certain. It is a great privilege that we got the opportunity to present a presidential candidate from the United National Party. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe had to obey the power of the grassroots level people. It is to that Sajjan Premadasa came forward. I am glad that the Prime Minister and others had to appoint the candidate that the people requested. The largest public rally with the highest number of participants will be held on the 10th next month at Goldface Green. We will present our presidential candidate at the rally. We will not only invite the SLFP, we will also invite those from the SLPP who rather had no choice but to accept the candidate presented by a family. Those who are against family politics will also join us on that day. We invite them to join Sajjan Premadasa. We invite them to join us and go forward as a common alliance.
Celebrations were held across the country in support of presidential candidate of the United National Party, Minister Sajjan Premadasa.
A celebration attended by the UNP electoral organizer of the Rathgama electorate, former provincial councillor Sajiva Karunatilaka, was held at the Hikkaduwa town today. A celebration was held at the Trincomalee town today in line with Sajjan Premadasa being named as the presidential candidate of the UNP. A milk rice dansala was organized at the main bus depot in Ambilipitia in support of Sajjan Premadasa. A celebration was held at the Kolonava Municipal Council in line with Sajjan Premadasa being named as the presidential candidate of the UNP.
Opposition leader Mahinda Rajapaksa expressed these views to the media following a meeting that was held at the office of the opposition leader today.
හරිම සන්තෝෂයි හරිම සන්තෝෂයි මම හැම වෙලාවෙම කිව්වේ සජිත් ප්‍රේමදාස එන්න ඕන කියලා. ඉතින් එතුමා ඇවිල්ලා තියෙනවා දැන්.
සායක වශයෙන් දැන් ජනාධිපති ගෝඨාභය රාජපක්ෂ මහත්තයා වුණත් අගමැති තනතුර ඔබතුමාද?
බලමු.
The Elections Commission has temporarily suspended the appointments granted to the position of trainee project assistants at the Ministry of National Policies and Economic Affairs.
This is the situation the appointees had to face when they arrived at the district secretariat as a result of the decision of the Elections Commission. 504 appointments were granted in the Ampara district. The Elections Commission, in a letter to the district secretary informing him of the suspension, had stated that many complaints had been lodged over the appointments. The letter had also informed the district secretary that as such appointments made at a time when elections have been announced are illegal, the appointments will be suspended until the 16th of November.
There is no need for events to be held to award the appointments to those who already faced the interviews. Just send the appointment letters to their houses. When this can be done, we would like to ask him as to why he has sent us a letter like this and suspended our appointments.
This
letter is dated on the 16th. We were notified to report to work within 14 days. Can the Elections Commissioner reverse the appointments that were given on the 16th of September on the 18th of September?
Meanwhile, a group whose appointments were suspended in the Kandy district expressed their opposition opposite the district secretariat.
We accept these appointments on the 23rd. About 800 people were given nominations in the Kandy district on the 16th of this month. These are people who have been appointed legally.
Minister Lakshman Kiriyalla arrived at the location to look into the issue.
We do not have the time to debate about this with the Elections Commissioner because the elections will be held within a month. It will be held on the 16th. After that, these appointments will be valid. Nobody can invalidate them.
A tree fell onto a power line in the Ratnapura town after it was uprooted by the strong winds that swept through the area. Media spokesperson of the Ministry of Power and Renewable Energy, Sulakshana Jayawardena, said that the supply of power has been cut to about 10,000 electricity consumers in the area. He added that it will take a considerable amount of time to restore the supply of power in the area. President Maithripala met with senior police officers today.
As police is an institution that comes under my purview, we have to give the required support to the Elections Commission to conduct a fair and unbiased election. I expect the police to act in a manner where no party can accuse the police of being biased to anyone. Therefore, all the senior police officers, including the IGP, should make the necessary arrangements to conduct the election activities smoothly. These monthly meetings are being held under the program launched by the President to provide a more effective service through the police by solving long-term issues. Discussions focused on the allocation of funds for a program to test the health standards of officers. Discussions were also held on assigning doctors to police hospitals, salary anomalies and issues surrounding grading of police officers. Meanwhile, modern equipment to detect drugs and explosives were donated to Sri Lanka. Equipment worth 750 million rupees was donated by China.
The first volume of the report of the Presidential Commission of Inquiry appointed to probe fraud and corruption at state institutions was handed over to the President at the Presidential Secretariat last evening.
The President's Media Division said the report was handed over by the 4 commissioners led by its chairman, retired Judge Upali Aberatna. A commission spokesperson said the report contains information on 22 complaints investigated by the Presidential Commission. The Presidential Commission was appointed by President Maithripala on the 17th of January this year to probe into fraud and corruption at state institutions from 2015 to the end of 2018. The official tenure of the Presidential Commission is due to expire on the 30th of this month. The Commission has requested the President to extend the tenure by a period of 1 month.
Former Customs Director General Jagat Vijay Veera and former Additional Director General of Customs Taraka Senibratna were arrested by the Police Financial Crimes Investigations Division as per the directive of the Attorney General.
On the 19th of September, Fort Magistrate Lanka Tourism ordered for the immediate arrest of the duo. On that day, FCID informed court the duo had committed a criminal breach of trust with regard to 8 kilograms of gold handed over to Sri Lanka Customs to be confiscated. The suspects had handed over 8 kilograms of gold held by the Sri Lanka Customs to be placed in the Buddha statue at the Sandagiri Saya. 45.3 kilograms of gold seized in the northern seas were handed over to the Sri Lanka Customs to be confiscated, and as they have released the gold in violation of the Customs Ordinance, the Attorney General had advised the FCID to institute legal action against the suspects for committing an offence under the Public Property Act. The suspects informed the FCID through their attorneys they were hospitalized and they were arrested at the Badula General Hospital.
The carcasses of 4 wild elephants were discovered in Digampatana Habarana.
Officials suspect the elephants may have died of poisoning. The carcasses were located from 4 separate locations inside a forest reservation in Habarana. The Department of Wildlife said an investigation into the cause of death of the elephants will be launched. A few elephant passes have been constructed in this area where elephants frequently roam. However, this is a manner in which the locals in the area cultivate their crops. Elephants destroy what the people cultivate, but still it is sad to see the carcasses of these wild elephants. We are saddened by this. This animal was living with what they eat from the others. The post-mortem examination of the 4 wild elephants were conducted this evening. A correspondent said the cause of the death is not ascertained yet. Wild elephants have died during previous instances due to the garbage dumped in the Diganapatana Reserve 5 kilometers away from the location.
Wild elephants have died before due to shooting, but food poisoning was reported only for the first time. These elephants were pregnant at the time of their death. We doubt if the law is enacted here. In India, 400 people and 150 elephants get killed a year. But here 300 elephants and 70 people die. We don't know the reason yet. We can say that there are weaknesses in the law. A sustainable program for this was implemented in 2006, but nothing has happened since then.
The Gammada movement began yet another public service initiative in search of a viable solution to the human-elephant conflict. The program was launched in Andaravava, Suryavava in Hambantota.
An extensive study of the human-elephant conflict in the Hambantota town and surrounding area will be conducted under this program. The program began with multi-religious observances. The Department of Wildlife, the Department of Civil Defence and the Peradeniya University have joined hands with the Gammada team for this project. We must find a way that this problem can be solved in a manner that benefits both parties equally. We are trying to identify this problem first if we are to look for a solution. That is what we are launching today. This is the first time that a media organization has joined hands with a university and conducted a study into the issues faced by the people. It will take us a few months to file the report based on the information that we gather during the 14 days. Afterwards, we will look at how we can work according to the laws of the country. We are hoping to draw up a proper plan that will reduce as much as possible the human-elephant conflict in the Hambantota district. I think there is only one thing that can be done to solve this issue. Either the elephant should be removed from this region or the human should be removed from this area. But both of these things cannot be done. So, if we are living with the elephant, as much as we are concerned about our needs, we must also be concerned about the habitats and life patterns of these elephants and their needs as well.
For those with no shelter, no peace of mind, begging for a drop of water, requesting for a school or a bridge, to bring an end to your sorrows, Gammada.
Moving on, in more local news, Spices and Allied Products and Producers Traders Association issuing a media release questioned the use of Indian free trade agreements.
The release claims that India was hampering Sri Lanka's exports of pepper and areca nut by imposing unrealistic minimum import prices, resulting in negligible exports. Sri Lanka exported around 75% of pepper exports and almost 100% of its areca nut exports to India. The MIP on pepper is around 1,200 rupees, whereas the local market is 200 Indian rupees, that is 500 Sri Lankan rupees. The release added that in the case of the areca nut, India importers are also finding it difficult to clear the cargo at the port of entry. SAPTA concludes the release questioning the use of free trade agreements if such restrictions prevent exports.
Okay, I see this as an action on protectionism on the part of India, because our pepper is very much sought after and of very high quality. They probably see as a threat to their commodity, and therefore the unrealistic duty levy has been something that we have been trying to fight for the longest time. Earlier it was done in a very informal manner. We find non-tariff barriers due to various state laws where they restrict the import or make it more difficult for Sri Lankan exports. So therefore, this is something we have to take up on a diplomatic level, from government to government and embassy to embassy. So it is about time that we took this up fairly seriously.
Sri Lanka Tourism celebrated World Tourism Day 2019 with all of its key stakeholders in Colombo, Bentota and Arugambay.
Sri Lanka Tourism Development Authority, along with the other three key institutions of Sri Lanka Tourism under the guidance of the Ministry of Tourism Development, Wildlife and Christian Religious Affairs, organised a two-day special program in Colombo and several other events to celebrate this year's World Tourism Day.
Sri Lanka offers a unique experience that appeals to a broad range of leisure tourists, business and incentive travellers. We have been named top destination for 2019, Lonely Planet, and Travel and Leisure named as a top country to visit in 2019.
Tourism is entirely a private industry oriented subject. Therefore, the ministry should have the least to do with tourism and give it to the private sector, but regulations will be monitored by the Ministry of Tourism and the boards that have been appointed.
The CEO Forum 2019, organised by the Postgraduate Institute of Management, was held in Colombo yesterday.
The forum was held under the theme Sri Lanka Marching Forward, Being Brilliant as Business Leaders. The chief guest of the event was Dr. Hans Vijaysurya. The panel discussion following the event was moderated by Professor Ajanta Dharmasiri, the director of the Postgraduate Institute of Management. Densil Indrajit Pereira, Vice President of PIMA and the event chair of the CEO's Forum 2019, was also present at the occasion.
Our responsibility as leaders is to convert this uncertainty into certainty. As business leaders, we cannot approach that situation with uncertainty. You need to go in with certainty. And it's only then that your subordinates, your team members will pick up on that vibe of positivism and certainty. And they will pass that vibe down. And this is exactly what we would look for in national leaders as well. Certainty, determination, positivism, which can be passed down from layer to layer.
Let's now take a look at your international news in brief.
The whistleblower whose complaint has led to an impeachment inquiry against President Donald Trump says senior White House officials tried to lock down all details of a phone call between Trump and the Ukrainian president. Trump acknowledged that he personally blocked $400 million in military aid to Ukraine days before he spoke to Zelensky, but has denied that it was to pressure the Ukrainian leader to investigate Joe Biden. Tens of thousands of students gathered for marches across New Zealand today to kick off a planned second global school strike for climate action. Scores of protests were held in towns and cities across the country, with students carrying signs including "You can't ignore us, but you will regret it," and chanting "No more coal, no more oil, keep your carbon in the soil." Smoke filled the air in Santa Elena yesterday, choking the few remaining residents that haven't evacuated in an effort to hold on to their homes they desperately hope won't be destroyed as blazes sweep across the area. Farm animals grazed on charred fields and residents attempted to beat back the heat with limited resources they could muster.
With that, we wrap up Primetime News. I'm Bernadine Chaz Singha.
And I'm Charlotte Benedict. Take care and God bless.